Hello everyone. So welcome back to my channel. So basically this is the AWS Zero to Master series, and in this series we are focusing on the AWS cloud and services. So if you can remember in the few session we have been learned about that EC2 and AMI, as well as in the previous session we learned about that AWS Elastic IP and how we can attach the Elastic IP into that EC2 instance. So followed by in the today's session, we are going to be see about the EC2 ENI. So this is one of the important concept when you are started working on the AWS EC2 level. This will be help us to manage that multiple primary and secondary elastic network interface into the EC2 level. So before wasting the time, let us start. So basically, the EC2 ENI stands for Elastic Network Interface. For example, if you have any kind of a desktop or laptop, there should be some kind of a hardware device called that network interface. So whenever you are trying to access the internet or anything, all the network traffic will be forward through your network interface code. So basically, coming to that cloud environment, if you need to be forward or access any kind of network, we need a one kind of network device. So that is called the ENI. So it is representing that virtual network card. So basically, it is that logical network components in the VPC level. So coming to the ENI, when we are creating the EC2, we can see one of the default ENI will be created on the EC2 level. So on the our default ENI, we can see there will be a private IP and IPv6. Along with it, we can get it the public IP based on the EC2 and the subnet configuration. So once we created the EC2 instance, we can't delete and deattach those ENI into the EC2. So that is the primary. So, but we can add a multiple EC2 ENI in that AWS level. But there is some limitation based on the instance type. So we can check it on the document to get the more idea about that. So these all are the about basics about the ENI and how we can manage the ENI. So now we will start to work it on the AWS cloud level, how we can create a like a secondary ENI and how we can attach those ENI into the EC2 instance. So before started to like creating the TNI, like I will take some scenario how we are going to be create a lab. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to be create a one EC2 instance. So by default, there will be a, one of the ENI will be attached to Elastic network interface. So along with that, we are going to be create another network interface in the same availability zone, which is like running on the EC2 instance. So both ENI, you can see first the default ENI will be going to be placed in the one of the subnet placed in this one of the availability zone. And the second ENI, the secondary ENI, we are going to be placed the same availability zone in a different subnet. So we are going to be with the two different subnet. So along with that, those two ENI, we are going to be attached with the two different security group to split up the network traffic so that we will allow that some kind of port in that security group one, and another security we are going to be managed for some kind of port. So once we created that this EC2 under this setup, what we are going to be do basically the user perspective, user going to be connect that EC2 using that primary ENI. So when they are going to be connect that EC2, the traffic they are going to be access using that 80 port. So that's the reason we have been installed some kind of web services on the EC2 instance. So all the 80 traffic we are going to be enabled into that primary ENI. Along with that, that security group will allow that traffic into that ENI. And if you can see another user going to be access the these all are the internal user. Basically, they are going to be access the EC2 instance to update or some update the file in the EC2 instance level. So basically, this user required for the 22 port. So basically, these kind of architecture we are going to be developed. So let us begin on that portal so that you will get more idea on that. I'm just quickly switching to that console. So if you can see on my AWS cloud, I have one of the server running. So inside the server, I have deployed that the HTTP service so that if I'm just trying to access the server using that public IP, I can get that some response from that server to HTTP. no mistake. So you can see this is responding like using that one of the like a HTTP service. So basically, if you can see on the security, I just enable the TIT port. So basically, I'm just getting. But if I'm just trying to access the server using the SSH, it will be through the error since I didn't enable that like SSH. So what we are going to do, like we are going to be create another ENI segment, sorry ENI card. So we are going to be attached. So whatever the networks coming in the SSH level, we are going to be try to access using those ENI, and the HTTP we are going to access with the primary ENI. So that is the way we are going to be achieve. So to do that, when we are creating the ENI, first we need to be like go with network and security. Here we have an option called network interface. Here we can create. So before that, what I'm going to do here, one of the public IP has been assigned. This is assigned by that subnet level that is assigned by default. If I'm just terminating or cut on that mission, it will be like gone and we can get that new IP. So instead of that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a two elastic IP. I'm going to attach those two IP into that particular both ENIs. So So if you are not aware of that Elastic IP related, I just posted that videos in like a previous session. So just I'll just paste the comment and the link on that comment section so that you can if you need to know about that, you can just watch it on those videos. So I'm just creating that Elastic IP. So first Elastic IP. So basically, I'm just calling it that the primary. This is the primary, and another one I'm going to be create. This one is I'm going to be create for secondary ENI. SSH, and this is the primary. We are going to be use it with the HTTP. So now you can see I have created a two elastic IP. So what we are going to do, we are going to attach these two IP for the primary and secondary elastic network interface, so that like each IP will be forward the traffic based on our security group rule. So first I'm going to be attach this primary into that primary ENI. So to do that, just click on that primary HTTP and that elastic network and go to action. And I think I need to be refresh this page. Yeah, now it got refreshed. Just click on that IP. Yeah, now you can see associate elastic IP. So basically, I'm going to be attach this elastic IP into that network interface. So I'm just selecting that network interface, and I'm going to be select the existing network interface card. I'll just open that another window. Okay, so go to that instance and under the networking. So here you can see this is the primary network interface. The ID is E85. Okay, you can see that E85. I'm going to be attach that primary ENI into that. Like this is the private IP of the primary ENI. Like you can see that 161 is the primary private IP. So I'm going to be attach these private IP this ENI into that one of the elastic IP. So now you can see I have been attached this primary elastic IP into that primary ENI. So you can see it was associated with one of the instance and the private IP, everything I can get it. So now if I'm just trying to access with the existing like a public IP, it will not work. Since we have been changed our instance IP, so what we need to do, just we can refresh. Yeah, now it got updated. So using this like elastic IP, we are going to be access the HTTP service. You can see. So I'm going to be access using the HTTP port protocol and the port. So now you can see we able to access the HTTP using that elastic IP. So now what we are going to do, but we are going to be create another ENI and we are going to be attach this elastic IP into the ENI. To do so, click on the network interface. So just click on the create network interface. So here this is called a secondary ENI. So the subnet I am going to like select that one sec. We- yeah, this is the custom subnet. Basically that IP will be like will be differ. If we can look into that the diagram, the primary ENI by default created, though like security group also is there. We have been enable the security group 80 port, and if you are accessing the user using the protocol 80, it is working fine. Now we are going to be like create a secondary ENI. So for that we are going to be like we are selecting that another subnet. So that is called 172.31.96 series. So I'll just start touching. Okay. So this is the ENI I'm going to be select. So IP address I'm going to be give it as a like auto assign. So basically the subnet will be by default will assign that the IP. So coming to the security group, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be select this one for the SSH security group. So basically what we are going to do, we are going to be use this ENA only for the SSH. If you can recall that, like once again the console here, we need only the 22 port only enabled. If you are attaching that existing security group, that will be like already exposed that 80. If you are enabling the 22 also, it will be like overloaded. So that's the reason we are attaching that separate a security group into the ENI. So basically, like this is the one we are going to be attached. So that's all about the procedure to create a ENI. So we need to be select the security group, whatever we want, and that IP address either we can go with custom, otherwise we can go with like auto assign. So just to create an interface, just to call it as the secondary. So now we can see the secondary ENA also has been created. This one also like created on the same availability zone. We need to be create the same availability zone within where EC2 instance is running. The security group is SSH. And if you can see like instance, we didn't like attached anything. Like still the status is available only. The IP address, if you can see 172.31.96.252. So you can see the series is 172.31.96.252. This series it's taking. So another one is the primary is 16. So that is the separate. So into the console. So that is the one. So now what we are going to do, the second thing before attaching this ENI to that instance, we will attach that elastic IP into that ENI. So I'm going to attach, click on that, just to refresh this page. So secondary, click on the secondary and associate the elastic IP. So here I'm going to be select the network interface, and here you can see both are primary and secondary. I'm going to be select the secondary, and the private IP by default it will come in once we select the ENI. So just click on the associate. So now you can see there are two elastic IP, both has been associated with ENI, but not yet associated with like that instance. So that's the reason instance are not showing. So now we are going to be attach the ENI to instance. So if you can see like if you go to that instance, still we can see only one ENA only showing primary. Now once we attach those secondary ENA, we can see that other one also. So secondary ENA, click on the secondary ENA under the network security and click on the action and attach. So just to click on that VPC, default VPC and the instance where we need to be. Okay, this is the instance. So like click on the attach. So the attachment has been successfully completed. If you can see now, like both has been attached and the instance ID also the remaining same. The status has been changed from that available to in use, that the private IP and public IP. This public IP is that the elastic IP, not a public IP, and the private IP also coming. So now you can see if you go to that instance. So now, like if you can see, my mission has been connected with both ENIs. If you can see, there are two ENIs are available. Like that, if you can see that first one is the primary. Basically, it's helping us to connect that instance using the HTTP protocol, and secondary is that the one that has been using for the SSH. Now, what we are going to do, like we are going to be like validate with both whether it is working or not. So basically, I'm just going to be like connect with the first one. So first one, like the primary IP is that there is the one primary IP. So now what I'm going to do using the same IP, I'm just trying to access that SSH whether it is working or not. To do that, like I'm going to be open the putty first. One sec. I'm just opening the putty. So there is the putty using the primary IP. I'm going to be select first. So if you can see, I'm just trying to connect that mission using that like a primary IP. It's still getting connect, but we are getting the error connection timeout. Since like why it is getting because these ENI like this primary ENI we have been attached with one of the security group. So those security group have a like capability to allow that only the 80 protocol. This is the protocol only it will be allow. So that's the reason it's throwing that like. Error. Now what we are going to do, we are going to be like access the machine using the secondary public IP. So I'm just copying that IP and opening the putty session once again. So this is the like putty. I'm just pasting the secondary IP. So along with the authentication, I'm going to be upload. So authentication should be like credential rows. This is the credential I'm going to use. So this is the old one. So if I go to the session, if I'm just trying to open, so using this like a public API, if I'm just trying to open, like it's getting connect. You can see EC hyphen user. Yeah, now we can connect using the secondary IP. So what exactly we did? We have been created a two ENI. So each ENI we have attached with a separate elastic IP with different security groups. So using the each security group, we have been enabled with like record port. So because of that, one elastic IP like one primary ENI help us to connect that dedicated HTTP port, and another ENI help us to connect with that SSH port. So this is the way we can achieve our that goal. Like for this goal, we can create and we can like redirect the traffic according to that. So I hope like you enjoyed this session. So once again, thanks for watching my channel, and like we will see you in the upcoming session.